I've given you who's wearing your shirt, are your people waiting for you to fix it, and 3 questions that every leader should know the answer to. This week I'm sharing the strategy for people that every leader must know. During the last week's podcast, we talked about discretionary effort specifically. This is the behavior driving output of a truly engaged employee. The consequence of getting discretionary effort from your employees is lower attrition. Remember, I mentioned before that a 1% reduction in attrition at one of my old organizations was worth $100 million. Let's dig in.
Great. So high energy, had me engaged the entire time.
I think what's great about Kevin's message is that, no matter how naturally talented you are, or no matter how great you can be, you can always keep striving for that next level. And even, if you become complacent, you might not even realize you've done it. But Kevin really helps you realize, that there's so much more that you can do. If you take a step back, really reevaluate what you're doing and what you're not doing, you can take it to the next level.
I loved his message about God's gift to you and your gift back. And he's just so down to earth and just a helpful, wonderful man.
Really, I think you can put him in front of anybody, and you're going to be inspired, you're going to be motivated, you're going to want to go out there, and you're going to want to start, reaching for that next level today.
Hey, thanks so much for joining in to the Leadership is Personal podcast, bringing you real-world solutions to real-world challenges in anywhere from 3 to 10-minute increments. Leadership is personal. Here's the better results. Imagine having more customers than you can handle, triple-digit revenue increases year after year, and social media ablaze for customers singing your praises. This would be the result of the people in your organization. The best companies are the result of their people. With no two alike, each brings a dynamic difference to the workplace. If you want this, ask yourself a simple question. Does your environment allow people to bring their full selves, making the unassailable difference for your organization? Or does it force them into a proverbial box, like 24 crayons in a box of Crayola? Employee engagement is a critical consideration for leaders and companies that want to perform at the highest levels. Unfortunately, the research data is sobering. Gallup and others have statistically shown American workers are disengaged at staggering rates. Certainly, disengagement rates have increased since the economic downturn. However, it's still at a rate that costs U.S. companies hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Engaged employees provide many benefits to their organizations, like enhanced customer service and increased productivity. But where the rubber meets the road, improve retention. In fact, this is primarily what my work is about. I work with companies to attract, develop, and retain top talent and customers. Retention being the key. Or as many have said, it's cheaper to keep her. Firms are realizing they cannot afford to ignore the responsibility of keeping their team members engaged. There's a strategy to getting the most from and keeping talent. While there are 5 dimensions to the whole employee, we'll assume we're addressing the professional dimension here. And by the way, we'll dig into dimensions a little bit more in a future podcast. But diving a little deeper, let's address the 5-part strategy to getting the most from your employees and keeping them. And shh, I'll let you in on a little secret. This can also be used for product development, developing significant others, and even developing yourself. When wanting to more deeply connect, ample time must be spent around the following 5 pieces to the strategy: fields, connections, differentiation, sequencing, and finally, impact. Humans, and consequently employees, desire to be in a consistent state of growth. Developmental meetings are a great place to discuss the 5 strategy elements to deeper engagement to get the most out of your talent and keep them. As a leader, you must understand where your employee is headed. Or said differently, what fields does she wish to play on? Where is it that she would like her career to go? This is a good time to gain insight around whether you have a long-term employee or one that considers her calling elsewhere. And what are the essential connections necessary to move from where he is today to where he aspires to be? Whether in another division of your firm, the office next door, or the Peace Corps, it is essential that as a leader, we understand where our talent aspires to be and how to be most helpful in getting them there. Few of us really take the time to also understand our point of differentiation. What is it that makes us so special in the context of our role or future roles? Or said another way, what's our superpower? You've likely picked up by now this system is forward-looking. You are meeting the people where they are and assisting in their growth and development. Equally as important as knowing the connections necessary and point of differentiation, one must understand the sequence of events or steps that need to occur to get them to where it is they aspire to be. Many of us want to go from midnight to morning in just minutes. Fortunately, it's not that easy. As we consider the generational differences in the workplace, this conversation may have varying tones and speeds around aspirations. With millennials projected to be 75% of the U.S. workforce by 2025, we should get comfortable with an expeditious timeline. Millennials aren't interested in paying dues. Ultimately, as leaders, it's incumbent upon us to assist our talent, our people, to realize the impact they make in their current role. We have to assist them in understanding how what they do every day impacts our organizations. Then we can assist them in understanding the impact they'd make in the position they aspire to. This is important because depending on the motivation for the aspirational role, your employee may actually realize the position they aspire to doesn't even align with the impact they wish to make. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Pizza parties and ice cream socials are nice and may in fact make your employees happy momentarily. But your company would be much better served by implementing plans tailored to the particular capabilities and aspirations of your individual employees. Not only is this a much more effective way to make employees feel more connected with the goals and missions of the company, it has the added benefit of showing your team members that you are committed and care about them individually, not just to the extent that they fit into the organization as large. As leaders, you are engaged, giving them license to stick around and be more engaged themselves. Hey, look, I want you to remember one thing if you don't remember anything at all, and that's leadership is personal. And as a leader, it starts with you. And as an individual, it starts with you. Leadership is personal, and it starts with you. If you join us here each and every week, you'll get a tidbit of information and insight that'll help you be the best version of yourself. Come back next week. Be sure to join us on Facebook within the Facebook group. Check us out on Twitter and on Instagram. Kevin D. Wright. Look us up. Check us out. Link to us online. Love to hear from you. Unlike some of the other podcasts, I want to hear directly from you, and I will answer your question. There's no question too tough, so together we can solve it. Stop back and tell a friend. Leadership is personal. Here's the better results.